Rolling.
Hi, I'm Elisa Ballard, president of the San Diego Toy and Doll Museum, and today I'm happy to introduce to you Michael Todd, Lego enthusiast and collector, and he's shared his Lego collection with us here in the museum. Michael, I wanted to find out, how did you get started with collecting Legos?
Wanted to relive my childhood, had money, had time, and got divorced.
Okay, and how did you acquire this great collection here?
This collection was acquired due to the fact that I found a gentleman that was forced to sell his collection. And rather than sell it to the general public, he sold it to me so that I could start the museum idea that we had all had.
Okay, great. And I understand these toys were only available in Europe.
Most of these toys are only available in 4 countries of Europe. The Lego wooden toys were originally started in Billund, Denmark, and didn't make it to too many countries before the discontinue of the production in 1960.
Could you tell us a little bit more about each toy that we have here on display?
Well, what we have here is one of the early yellow trucks from 1932, all the way up through the more simple wooden toys that they produced later in the 1950s. When Disney in the 1950s partnered with, when Lego partnered with Disney to license products, we actually have a musketeer pistol, Disney style.
Oh,
Even though parts are missing off of it, the majority of the pistol is still around to be able to be shown.
so was that sold in America?
No,
Oh, that was only a Disney product sold in...
these are Disney licensed. That was a Disney licensed product sold by Lego.
Oh, okay.
Just like the Pluto dog on the shelf of the mechanical toys. That is actually Pluto, and that is a licensed Disney product that Lego sold.
That's interesting. So, can you explain a little bit about the origins of Lego, how it got started, who started it?
Well, the Lego Toy Company was started by Kjeld Christensen, and he was a master carpenter in Billund, Denmark. And in the beginning of the Depression in 1932, he was forced to find another way to make money to feed his family due to the fact that people weren't buying houses, tables, chairs, wagons, and all the products that he manufactured. So he thought, people have money to buy toys for their kids, so I'll make wooden toys. So started the beginning of the Lego toy with our yellow truck from 1932, and he handmade them.
So this one over here is the absolute first
That is
toy.
an actual one of the original toy trucks that Lego made in 1932. Only 2 exist in the world that are known to the community.
Wow.
The one that Lego owns and the one that's here in our museum today.
And can you explain a little bit more about how the family was involved in the Lego company?
Well, Kjeld started the company, but his kids grew up with it. So his son Gottfried learned to be able to go in and do the painting and do the lacquering, and actually hands-on did a lot of the work on it, but also started doing designing and sales. And when they got into plastics after World War II, Gottfried was instrumental in the design of the automatic binding brick, which is the predecessor to the Lego brick. And his ideas and ideals that he was taught by his father, who was a master carpenter, transitioned over with him to the design of the Lego brick, which came out in 1958 and has not changed since.
And the ideals of the company that you mentioned, can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, it all starts with the name of the company, Lego. Lego is a contraction of 2 Danish words, leg and godt, meaning play well in Danish. But they also have a family motto and a company motto that's called only the best is good enough. And they do not scrimp on quality or safety.
Very good. So it's a very high quality company. I guess that's why you got so interested in collecting the Lego.
I got interested in collecting Lego because it was a big part of my childhood.
So you played as a child with the Legos, and do you feel like they were like your favorite toy growing up?
Pretty much. They were the favorite toy of mine. I still remember the first day we got our very first Lego set back in about 1969. It came in the mail. It was a send in the back of a Velveeta cheese box with $1.
Oh, you're kidding. Well,
No.
cheese.
And we actually have an example of the box set in the museum, and we have an example of the Velveeta cheese box that we took the back off of and mailed in.
Do you have any of your personal toys that you played with growing up?
They're lost within the collection. The bricks have been instituted with other bricks.
Combined, and you don't know which ones were
don't
which.
know what's what. I've bought so many people's used Lego over the years that it all has just become one giant collection now. There's no way to tell which part was where, because unless you know what you're looking for, you can't even date a Lego brick from the 1960s any different than the 1980s. They all look the same because they all follow the same design standards. They're all interchangeable.
So apparently they must have good quality then if you can't tell the old from the new.
Correct. Lego has always been a forefront of the quality, and they only use the best plastics. Today, the plastic that Lego uses is a food grade plastic. So you would be able to build a bowl out of Lego bricks and eat out of it and not worry about any chemicals leaching out of it like we do with baby bottles today.
Oh, that's amazing. So can you explain a little bit about the evolution of the automatic binding brick?
Well, with the advent of plastics, the Lego company started making different plastic toys. And then they came up with an idea for a plastic building brick that's similar to the Kitty Craft brick that was in England. And when it was discovered by Kitty Craft that they were making something similar to theirs, Kitty Craft claimed a patent infringement. So Lego began the change of their brick to make it different enough that it wouldn't infringe on the patent. So from 1949, with the invention of the automatic binding brick, up till 1957, Lego made the different variations of brick. But in 1958, when they standardized and came up with the idea of the studs on top and the tubes underneath with the closed-in brick, the Lego brick was actually born, and the design has stayed the same since 1958.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you explain a little bit about the toys that we see in the two smaller cases?
The toys that are in the other two smaller cases are the transition from plastics and the manufacturing of toys over to the company deciding that the Lego brick was where they were going to want to stay. They made different variations of different types and different styles of toys that were popular through the 1940s and into the 1950s. But with the standardization of the Lego brick in 1958, Lego decided that they were going to build their toy company around that product. So in the one case, you see large-scale trucks, which were used just as individual toys that were sold. In the other case, you will see the HO scale cars that are of a scale that they work with the Lego brick and the town plan design, so that you could build towns out of the bricks and then utilize the toy trucks and toy cars to build your own little city.
Oh, that's interesting. So all the ones on the right can be used with the Lego bricks.
They actually were sold with Lego
And they were
sets
sold
and
with
individually.
sets. Oh, okay. And what about the little baby dolls that we see up there?
They're just other toys that Lego made. They got into different types of plastic and different types of toys because they were in the market to make toys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the story behind the little Cupid dolls, but they made two different sizes and two different colors. They made the white and they made the black.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And we have some master builder displays here in the museum. And can you talk a little bit about what it takes to become a master builder?
Master builders are considered people that can take an idea and brick and manage to manufacture it themselves at their house. We have Bill Volbrecht in the case, which he became a master builder at Legoland and ended up, before he left the employment of Lego, became a park designer. On the top of the cases, we have Matt Armstrong, who in his own right is considered a master builder. He takes and sees objects in everyday life and then decides he's going to build it out of Lego brick to make it look like the real item.
So everything that he uses is a Lego product.
Correct.
Because some of the things are kind of rounded. I was wondering, are those sold by Lego?
All the pieces utilized in the items that you see created here are Lego pieces. They're just turned in different ways than they were originally intended for. So what you see as a dial to the phone is part of a radar dish. What you see as round buttons are small radar dishes.
Oh, okay, so he's very creative in what he's using to recreate.
Most of the master builders, they can look at a part and see different ideas and ideals and being able to utilize the part for creation.
Michael, can you explain how Lego introduced their products in America?
Lego was pretty much a European company, and they were approached by the Samsonite Corporation, who made many different products. So in 1961, Lego licensed Samsonite to manufacture the Lego bricks in Colorado. And through the 1960s up until the mid-1970s, Samsonite was actually manufacturing the Lego brick under a license from Lego.
And why did they pick Samsonite?
Samsonite approached Lego.
Oh, they approached them. Okay.
Samsonite approached Lego with the idea, we want to manufacture your brick. But Lego was dissatisfied with the quality that Samsonite had done and pulled their licensing in the 1970s, built a manufacturing facility in Enfield, Connecticut, and began the production of the Lego brick themselves.
Oh, I see. And today, where do they make their bricks?
Today, the bricks are made worldwide. Unfortunately, we do not have a manufacturing facility in the United States anymore, just due to the fact of cost.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it comes from the Czech Republic, Mexico, and unfortunately our minifigures are made in China.
I see. I understand there's quite a few minifigures.
Just a few thousand.
Types.
Variations, yes. And then when you start building your own minifigure, then you end up in the millions of variations.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being with us here today, and we want to thank you so much for sharing your wonderful collection with the public. This is really amazing, and we're just so happy to have you participating in our museum here today.
Well, thank you for giving me the chance to finally realize the dream of many of us in the Lego community to finally have a Lego history museum open to the public.
Well, it's our pleasure to help you do that. Thank you again.
You're welcome.